Okay, right now I want to talk about combining like terms. And I like using color. Some people use shapes. If you don't have multicolors, you can use different shapes. So for example, I'll do a little bit of both right now. I'm going to identify my like terms. So how about if I use yellow? And notice when I identify my like terms, I include the symbol in front of the term. So I've got variables here, and I did a yellow square around my variables. Now I've got some whole numbers. I am going to do circles. I almost did another square. I'm going to do circles in pink around my whole numbers. Okay, so I have just identified two different types of terms. Now, let me go ahead and combine my like terms. How about if I start with my yellows? I have n plus 3n. Well, that would be 4n. And I want to remind you, if you subtract n's, for example, what does that really mean? It means 3 times n. So that's the same as n plus n plus n, 3 times n, and then we're going to add another n to it, making 4n. Now what if I had 4n minus n? I've had students tell me 4n minus n is just 4. Well, that's because they're not visualizing 4n right. If this is 4 n's and you subtract an n, you'd just be getting rid of one of them, and then you'd have 3n. So that's just a little side lesson about combining like terms correctly. But anyway, so I have 4n minus 2 here equals 5 plus 2 is 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay, so now my next step is to undo addition or subtraction. I've got subtraction here, so I'm going to undo that by adding 2 here, adding 2 here. These cancel each other, and this makes this 12 equals 4n. Now my next step is to undo 4 times n. The opposite of that is divide by 4. Divide by 4. And I guess I didn't allow enough space here, so I'm going to have to write it out to the side. But 4 divided by 4 becomes 1. 1 times n leaves n alone. And then 12 divided by 4 is 3. So n equals 3 in that problem. All right, let's look at the next one. This is a little different. We have variables on both sides of the equals. We have whole numbers on both sides of the equals. Well, and you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it to help you out here. But especially if your problems are big and long, by identifying your like terms, can help you with those great big long problems. Anyway, this one's actually pretty simple, so you don't really have to, but it helps. Okay, so I'm looking at my n's. I need to get n on one side of the equals. 4 is more than 3, so I've decided to get rid of the 3, to undo the 3n on this side. So I'm going to subtract 3n here and subtract 3n here. These cancel. A positive and a negative cancels each other out to 0. So I am left with 4 equals n. 4n minus 3n leaves 1n, and we don't write 1n, we write just n. n minus 7. Okay, now I want to undo. That kind of helps to show you work with another color. I should have done that there, but anyway, I want to undo this minus 7 so that n's alone on this side. So I will add 7 here, add 7 here. That cancels those two. 7 plus 4 is 11 equals n. So final answer 11 equals n. Okay, so let's look at something else. We undo operations to get the variable alone. Now, I am showing a problem, and remember we've got different rules in math, and so the commutative property says that 4x plus 6 is the same thing as 6 plus 4x. We call that the commutative property. Now, like 3 plus 2 is 5, 2 plus 3 is 5. It's really equal to each other. Now, what I've noticed though with kids, when they're undoing operations and equations, and they see it in this arrangement, they can easily see that they need to undo this first because it's plus 6. And the guidelines say undo addition or subtraction first. However, when it's written this way, they get a little bit confused because they see plus 4x. So they're thinking, oh, I need to undo this plus 4x. Actually, that's 4 times x, and it's still plus 6. So what you're really undoing here is not the 4 times x. You're going to undo the plus 6, even though the 6 is listed first. So I've shown it both ways. So this would be minus 6, minus 6, so that those cancel each other out. And then this becomes 4 equals 4x. Then your next operation would be divide by 4, divide by 4, and 4 divided by 4 becomes 1. 1 times x leaves x alone. 4 divided by 4 is 1. X equals 1. So just didn't want you to get confused by the arrangement. It is the same meaning, and you would undo the plus 6 first, even if the 6 is listed first like this. You can just kind of read it backwards. 4x plus 6. And the opposite of plus 6 is minus 6. Okay, and I don't think I need to work this one for you, but I will, just to show you, even though it's arranged differently. That cancels that. 10 minus 6 is 4, and that equals 4x, and then we divide by 4, and x equals 1. Okay, hope that helps you. Thank you.